Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Agri-Talk. My name is Sutiat Bunchun, Marketing Manager at Progressus. Today, I'm with Jon Ratcliff, one of the facilitator of Agri-Schools and online milling school. He specializes in feed mill operational efficiency. Good afternoon, Jon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm very well. Thank you.
So today we'll be going over some of the topics interesting in the feed industry. So let me start with the first question. What is the current situation, pressuring in the feed industry at the moment?
Okay, well, I think it's safe to say that these are unprecedented times in terms of squeeze on costs for most feed operations. And that is a combination of raw material cost, supply and logistics. It's the combination of fuel cost and energy cost increases. And it's also a factor of labor availability and increasing cost of labor. So these three factors all coming together at the same time, because as we know of global occurrences right now, then this is creating a really big and difficult challenge for feed mills in order to maintain their efficiency and profitability.
I see. So that's come into play a lot by especially a pandemic and the current situation, the global current situation. So what is the best way forward for the feed companies to remain competitive in this situation?
I think it's absolutely paramount that they have knowledge of their efficiency, and in order to do that, they need to have the necessary systems in place to be monitoring the equipment and the performance so that they understand what are they getting out from the plant that they've invested. There is a parameter called OEE, which is overall equipment effectiveness. And this is becoming quite commonplace now within the feed industry. And this is the means with which they can measure efficiency. And efficiency is measured against availability. So availability of the machines, and of course, subtracting any downtime, either planned or unplanned. It's a factor of productivity. So how much are you getting out of the machinery against the rated capacity of that machine or the line, for example. And then the final parameter is quality. So how much are we producing of a good quality that is not reject, that is not going back for reprocess and is not being sieved out as returns. So having systems in place that can monitor in real time these numbers and give you a reading in terms of your OE efficiency is becoming really important. So the companies can understand where are the weaknesses in the systems and where do they need to focus to improve their efficiency and their output.
I see. So that is very critical to actually know what's going on. Where are you in the process of, in terms of efficiency? So can you actually name, 3 top actions that, feed mill could implement to actually reduce the cost of the production?
Sure. Well, I think one of those would be monitoring and then understanding what actions to take in terms of energy usage and energy efficiency. So it still surprises me how many feed mills don't have simple power meters and methods of monitoring energy, not just electricity, but also steam, gas, other fluids, so that they can understand what they are using. And then once they understand what they're using, what can they do to maybe reduce or control that usage to keep below peak demand, for example, or excessive use of energy. So that's one area. I think another one would be around shrinkage. So shrink in the feed industry arises through raw materials and through the production process. Number of factors, but one of the major ones right now, which is a reasonably easy fix, would be moisture loss, for example. So moisture loss from receiving of raw materials, from grinding, and then after mixing and the pelleting or the conditioning, extrusion processes. knowledge of how much moisture is lost compared to what was actually planned in the formulation, and having strategic methods in place and technologies in place that can make changes in line in real time to the system to balance the moisture to the target level that you should be achieving. So trying to alleviate and reduce losses of moisture is one very quick and effective return on capital that you can apply in terms of shrink loss. And then the third one that you asked for would be around automation. So most companies are aware of automation, but it's still, the level of automation varies company to company. Some have very sophisticated gate-to-gate automation systems, and thereby by having a reduction in the number of labor and staff that they require. Others maybe have it in focused areas, maybe around the batching operation, maybe around the packing operation. But there's no doubt that the operator efficiency and the efficiency of people needs to be more productive. So having automation doesn't necessarily mean having fewer staff, but it actually means being able to allocate that resource more effectively, so you get more out from the people who are working inside the feed mill, and letting the automation do the real-time running of the plant, which can be done more efficiently than a human operator.
I see. So those are very great, tips that, feed mill can actually start to think about, and, how to implement that into action. And so now that's come to my last question, as a facilitator of our online milling school, the school that we have been initiated for 2 years already in collaboration with Parendell. So we go from, feed mill from A to Z. So, from starting designing the plan, as a facilitator, how this, this online milling school can actually, help feed operators to navigate through this challenging time.
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, it's a huge bank of information, first of all, that is pretty unique as a training tool within the industry, draws on a lot of experts, and that's all together in one place, or one series of lectures, for example. So I think that's your starting point. But more importantly than that is training your staff and having the people operating the equipment and the processes that you're trying to improve efficiency of fully up to speed in terms of standard operating procedures, work instructions, the understanding of the process, and troubleshooting bottlenecks, for example. So really in enhancing the capability of your staff is number one priority. The next would be allowing the businesses to understand key performance indicators, so that once you go down a path of improvement, how do you measure that? So by setting KPIs that are measurable, preferably in real time, but certainly measurable, so that you can then understand where you've been successful, where you haven't been successful, and what steps you need to take in order to get to the level of success that you determine from that KPI at the start. And that's a very useful tool to be able to introduce and implement, so that you can try to develop continual improvement throughout all of the process. And then the final part then is that leads to the understanding of operational efficiency and optimizing the output of the plant. So by the staff understanding concepts like OEE and having the tools to measure and display OEE, for example, then they can make much more meaningful decisions relating to the ongoing processes of machinery and of the planning and the scheduling, so that they really are maximizing the output of the plant in the most efficient way possible. And I think that's really what you can expect to understand and achieve by attending these the courses that you're referring to here.
I see. So that's a very useful resources, and you can actually go through the website to find out about our online milling school course at www.onlinemillingschool.com. So there's all the information you need about all the courses that we have. So today, thank you very much, John. I think the industry should be benefiting from this talk a lot. Hope we can discuss with you next time. And yes.
Sure. And we always enjoy the questions that we get on the courses as well. And that gives the attendees the chance to ask any specific questions that they may have that maybe are not covered in the general coursework. So I look forward to seeing the attendees and listening to them later.
It's exactly. So thank you very much and see you in the next Agri-Talk. Goodbye for now.
Thanks a lot. Bye.